Hi, hello, welcome to this video and welcome to my channel if you're new. Today we're doing another training chit chat because I wasn't planning to record today, and then I felt like recording and I was like, well, none of the videos you're working on are in a stage where you can record for them, and then I was like, but I have free will and I can record another video, so we're doing a little get to know me video. Because I have done one in the past, but that was, I think, Halloween 2024, which was, well, over a year ago. Don't know why I found that hard to say. But yeah, that's what we're gonna do today. Because there's been a lot of new people here also since, like, I hadn't even had my channel for 6 months when I made that video, so yeah, I've just googled get to know me questions and I'm gonna answer the ones I find appropriate while training lightning here. As you might notice, there's no snow today because I'm not feeling like snow. It's very cold in real life and not in the fun way, so I'm like, I have had it with snow. Will the snow make a return before it disappears from the game? Probably, because I do still enjoy the snow, just not in this particular moment. But let's start with the first question. How do you spend your free time? Well, you're currently seeing one of the main ways I spend my free time, and that is playing video games, specifically Star Stable. I play other games as well, but Star Stable is pretty much the only game I've stuck with consistently. Like, I play other games in short bursts, like for a couple of weeks, and then I don't do it again. Like, I played Genshin a lot during my university studies, Genshin Impact, and I also played Honkai Star Rail. I do prefer the story in Honkai Star Rail. I'm not much of a turn. Like, I don't like games with turn-based mechanics as much as like live combat, but Honkai Star Rail was also very fun. I also play Disney Dreamlight Valley. I still do that every once in a while when I want something cozy that isn't Star Stable. Also when I want something I can play with a controller and I can play like in bed because I have a wireless controller. I'll play a lot of Disney Dreamlight Valley. Yeah, I have played Minecraft. I play Sims every now and then. That's all I do. But I also do, which I've also talked a lot about, I love reading. I read a lot. I did talk about reading a lot in the ending of the last video, which wasn't even a week ago, so there hasn't been much of an update there, other than I started a reread once again of You Should Be So Lucky by Cat Sebastian, which I talked about last April when I did my first reread of the book. Because it's a comfort read. I've had a couple of rough days and I was like, I need something that I know will make me feel good. And that book, just, I immediately started like physically smiling, like so wide it hurt. That book just makes me so happy. It's historical queer baseball romance. It's set in the 60s in New York, between a reporter and a baseball player. And it's, I don't know, I really like it. But that is like the two main ways I think I spend my free time. I have a lot of free time since I currently don't do much. Ever since I dropped out of university. I do watch YouTube a lot as well. I probably watch YouTube way more than I watch, like, I was about to say TV, but with TV I mean like streaming services like Netflix. There's just a lot more. I'm sorry, wait, give me a moment. An alarm went off on my watch. It was a 5-minute alarm. I had not set a 5-minute alarm. I don't know why a 5-minute alarm went off. That was quite interesting, but it was vibrating my entire arm, so I was like, I'm gonna have to fix that before I can finish this race. But I watch a lot of YouTube. I watch people play Star Stable, people play other games. I watch a lot of booktubers. So people who do reading vlogs or do like recommending book videos or like people's TBR videos, which is to be read if you're not in the book space online, or like the reading wrap-ups for each month. I find that very interesting. Some of my favorite channels is Olivia Reads a Latte, as well as Darling Desi's very like cozy. She doesn't do a lot of videos, but whenever she does, they're like so like whimsical and magical and so well curated, so like amazing. I've watched a little bit of, I think it's Kalila D is her channel name, and oh, what's her name? I'm sorry, I'm really bad at remembering. It's like Shwana something, I think. I'm gonna open my YouTube app on my phone and see if it's gonna recommend me any of her videos as like... Oh, another one that's just popped as a recommendation is Emmy Rossum, who I've only watched for like a month and a half. She's British, but I do enjoy her videos. I often like watch people who like I don't have the same reading taste as. I just like the way they make their videos or the way they talk about books. They don't necessarily need to read books I'm interested in for me to enjoy watching their videos. So yeah, there are... I'm gonna see if I can find the one. Okay, I'm just gonna search instead, I think. Don't use your phone while riding, people. It's dangerous. I literally can't type. Okay, I can't find her. I can't remember what her name is. I'll put it on the screen if I remember to, because I want to recommend her, because she makes a lot of like really good like long book recommendation videos, which has like, oh, like I watched one of hers this like in December. There was like Christmas romances. She has a super long list, and she also is really good at recommending like indie authors and small like black authors, and I have a lot of books on my TBR that I want to read that she's recommended. They sounded really good. I just haven't been able to get my hands on because they're hard to find in Sweden. But they're on my list and I'm looking for them. But, you know, if no bookstore has them, what am I supposed to do? I can just request that they get it, but like if they don't, like I can't affect that. But I'm gonna put that on the screen. But I love watching booktubers. I also love watching gaming. I also watch a lot of Twitch. But I only watch one streamer, and that is Rosanna TXT. She also has a YouTube where she plays games and stuff. But I am actually currently watching a stream while recording this. I'm not watching while recording, but I was in the middle of a stream because she does co-working videos or streams, which is where like she is working and then like you working, like she's just streaming while she's working, and then it's like a Pomodoro where we work for 50 minutes and then we have a 10-minute break and we like chat in the Twitch chat. It's super helpful for me. It kind of works as like body doubling, and I can get a lot of stuff done. It was very useful when I was at university, so I watch her streams a lot, pretty much every time she streams, unless something else comes up. Maybe not the entire stream because I can't always don't always have the time for it, but like now I'm taking a break in the middle of stream to record this video because I really wanted to record, and I had done everything on my to-do list for the day. My music disappeared. That's not very good. Yeah, I need to get my questions back. There they are. But then, yeah, that's how I spend my free time, like YouTube, video games, books, I also spend time with the horses. I'm not currently training much with them, but I'll spend time with them. I pet them. I'll brush them. We're having a little bit of a winter break, extended winter break. We started training again with Frellis, but that's currently mostly my mom. We did go sledding when there were more snow, and like I drove as well. I don't know, like that sounds. It probably is the correct term. It just doesn't sound correct to say that you drove a sled. But yeah, so we went sledding, both my mom and I, when there was more snow, and we have done some other stuff as well. But I wouldn't say that, like I'm actually really training currently with them. And then obviously like there's Sessan, who she's super excited to do anything and everything, but she's also like she's 25. That's quite old, my little princess, for a horse. As she's supposed to be like retired, resting. She has not gotten the memo. She's quite offended. So we still obviously do stuff with her because it's obviously good to do stuff as well. But like, she's not supposed to be working as hard as like Frellis, who's like 10. There is a difference, but she doesn't understand that. She thinks we're very rude. We're trying to let you have a nice retirement, and she's like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But yeah, that's my free time. What's your favorite food? Should we do this race and hopefully the music comes back? Because it's eerily quiet right now. Now I got some music. My favorite food. That's a question I never like. Because I am... like, I suppose that I'm such a moody person. That's not how you say it. But I am a person who lives... like, my life is very much revolving around my moods. If I'm in the mood to read, I can read like more than a book in a day. I can read 2-3 books a day if I'm in the mood to read that much. But if I'm not in the mood to read, I will not read for over a month. And the same goes with like food. If there's a food I really, really like, I can have it for every meal for over a week. But then I might also have, like, if I'm not in the mood for that food, I wouldn't be able to have a single bite of it for like months. I wouldn't look at it. So it's really hard to say. But one thing that I don't think I've ever not been in the mood for was when I was at university. There was this restaurant and they had halloumi burgers. And I'm going to sound like, oh, that doesn't sound so great. But like, I've never had halloumi that was this good. And I've had halloumi burgers other places, like Hoping, Dreamy, it's a bit, but they had like this thick piece of halloumi that they deep fried. Like they would coat it in like breadcrumbs and deep fry it, and it would be like soft, like melted halloumi. It was so good. And like they had dressing with it and like pickled onions, like pickled red onions, and it was so good. And their fries were so good. But like, I live in a, like, what's the equivalent of like a different state? Like, we don't have states in Sweden, but like the equivalent of a different state. Like, I can't just go there for a burger. That would be ridiculous. I'm not currently feeling Hollywoods, actually. Let's continue onwards to, I was like, oh, let's go to Steve's, but like, no, let's actually continue to Valedale Lake. So I think that would be my favorite food, but at the same time, like, I could be, like, I'm currently in such a mood for like sushi, but also same thing. The sushi restaurants around here where I live currently, because this is where I grew up, we don't have great restaurants for sushi. But we had so many really good like Asian restaurants, like within walking distance from my apartment when I was at university. I was so spoiled for good food. Oh, like my friends and I would go out and eat, usually for lunch because that was cheaper, but like at a restaurant at least once a week. when we studied. Like, we would go, if we had a morning lecture, you would find us having lunch afterwards at one of the restaurants. Without fail, at least once a week. It was so good. It was not good for my wallet, but it was very good for my stomach. Yeah. Do you listen to any podcasts? And I somehow almost became British there, I think. Yes, I listen to one podcast. I'm not currently caught up with it because I got distracted with other things. But I listen to a podcast called The Newest Olympian. And it is a podcast where the host, Mike Schubert, who's an adult in his 30s, reads the Percy Jackson books for the first time. He never read them. And he has read them now, and he's now currently reading the Heroes of Olympus. And every episode he has a guest who has read the books, and then they go over like where he currently is at, like the couple of chapters every episode. And it's really funny, it's really good, it's really well made. I've pretty much only ever listened to podcasts by him. I used to listen to one of his previous podcasts earlier that was about the same thing but Harry Potter, but I never finished that because I lost interest in Harry Potter overall. Like, I don't care about that universe whatsoever at this point. I had a couple, like, I was interested in it when I was a teenager. Like, I read the books for the first time when I was 13, and then I was like, oh, this is fun. And then I had a couple of years, and then it's like, now I'm like, yeah, no, I don't like them anymore whatsoever. So I never finished that podcast, but then he released this one, which is the Percy Jackson books, which I read when I was 18 for the first time, and I am still reading books within the universe. I'm not finished with the PGO universe. But it's so fun, and I love that. And I also do actually listen to another of his podcasts where I am fully caught up and I'm waiting for more episodes. Because The Newest Olympian is a weekly, it's every Monday, there's a new episode. But he also has another podcast which is like released in seasons, and that is called I was about to say Modern Muckraker. That is another podcast of his, but I don't listen to that one. The one I listen to is Meddling Adults, which is a game show podcast where adults compete in solving mysteries from like children's media, like children's detective novels or like Scooby-Doo episodes and stuff. Adults are competing in trying to solve mysteries from children's media for charity. So whoever wins the episode gets money for a charity. So that is very fun, and you can also like get bonus points if if you say something like funny or like make the judge, which is Mike, laugh. So people are always trying to be very funny, and it's hilarious to listen to. I've listened to it more than once, I think, like through. It's great. So I guess this is a free little ad spot for Mike Schubert's podcasts. As I said, I've listened to 2 of them, technically 3, but the ones I would recommend is The Newest Olympian and Meddling Adults. Of the 3 I've listened to, like, there's nothing wrong with Potterless, but like I don't like the media it's based off of, so meh. Question number 4. Have you heard of... Okay, this one doesn't say, it's like, I like insert a movie TV show you enjoy. Okay, that's not a great question for this video. What's my favorite thing to do on the weekend? Basically the same thing I do any day. My weekends aren't much different from my weekdays currently, and they weren't really that different from my weekdays even when I studied, because sure, I wouldn't have lectures, but I would still be studying, and I would still have a weird sleep schedule, and yeah. of course, when I studied, I would often, not every weekend, but a lot of weekends, I would go back to my parents to hang out with the horses, since I couldn't do that on the weekdays, but pretty much like almost every weekend, if possible, I would come home and hang out with my parents and also with the horses and help out in the stable. But now I also obviously also do that on weekdays, so not go to the stable and stuff. So there isn't like something I specifically only do on weekends. I don't think. Like, my weeks are pretty monotone. But I like that. I like having a rhythm that is like consistent. I had some water, hopefully, because I felt my voice was like turning very gravelly. Hopefully it's better now. Do you have any pets? Yes, we have talked about this briefly. I have horses and a cat. We have 2 cats, actually. But one is a stable cat. She was born in a stable. She has the option to come inside if she wants to. She does every once in a while, but she never wants to stay long. She wants to be outside, so we let her. Like, you can say that's rude or mean or wrong if you want to, but the level of anger that cat has if she is kept inside the house and not allowed to roam outside where she was born is like, I have never heard an animal scream like that. Because one time it was like, okay, and that was actually, we needed, that time that happened was because we needed to have her inside because we were giving her medicine, but she was very, very angry. So we needed like to know where she was. And that was many years ago, but like, she doesn't want to be an indoor cat. And she's like 15 or something at this point. She doesn't want to be an indoor cat. We're not going to force her like this late in life. So yeah, there's like, you can have opinions on like outdoor cats if you want to. I'm not gonna change how she lives her life this late on in her life, especially when it's very clearly she doesn't want it to change. Her name is Kimmy, and then we have my other cat, which is Zephyr, or Lincoln Zephyr. Actually, but we call him Zephyr or Sephi or things that are not at all related to Zephyr. I don't know how some of his nicknames end up. Like, some of them logic. I feel like... I feel like my music is very loud, but I think it was also headphone settings, so I tried to change those settings now. But, like, some nicknames make sense. I call him Love because he's my little love. He's adorable. I call him Baby as well because he's my little baby. But yeah, that's Sephi. He's 1.5, a little older. He's about 1 3/4 at this point. And so he's very young and he's very playful. He's starting to get very opinionated about closed doors. He loves to knock over things like glass bottles and stuff, so we have to keep like... I like to drink soda in glass bottles when I can, so I will buy sodas in glass bottles when I can. But, you know, I'm have to storing them in, like, a storage room with a closed door because otherwise someone will come and knock them over, and, you know, glass can shatter. And shattered glass, not good for pets with little paws. So he's very angry about not being allowed into rooms like that. He's just gonna have to keep being angry. I'm not changing my mind about him not being allowed to play with glass. But yeah, and then we have, as a family, 4 horses. We have 2 North Swedish draft horses, and then we have 2 Shetland ponies. But we've always had horses my entire life, or all the way back to my grandfather. My grandpa is the one who started, like, with horses. So yeah, there's always been horses. My sister had a Gotland pony when I was little, and I'm doing this all wrong. My sister had a Gotland pony when I was little, which you will know if you watched my 10th anniversary shopping spree where I bought a Gotland pony that looks kind of like him. But yeah, those are our pets. Do you have a favorite book? Oh, this is a hard question. I read 110 books just last year. There are so many books I love, but I think absolute personal favorite is Nevermore by Jessica Townsend. It is a middle grade book, meaning that it is meant for children, but a little bit older children. But I read that when I was in high school, and I have reread it so many times. I'm currently rereading the third book, Hollowpox, and I love this series. I love the themes. I love how whimsical it is. Yeah, it is, in my opinion, better than Harry Potter. I will die on this hill. But yeah, it is probably one of my favorite book series of all time, and Nevermore being the first book. Just go read it. It's magical. It's whimsical. There's a huge cat, and she's so sassy, and I love her. I love Fen with all my heart. So that's obviously, if you want something from a different genre than middle grade fantasy. I've already talked about You Should Be So Lucky. It is the second book technically in a series. The first one is We Could Be Good, I think. Let me open BookBeat and check, because I'm audiobooking them. Like, they're not listed as series. Yeah, We Could Be So Good, also by Cat Sebastian. And that follows the son of the publisher of this paper, and then one of the reporters who gets assigned to show him the ropes of how the company works, because the publisher, he's like, yeah, I'm not just gonna give this all to my son, he needs to learn the ropes. So then he gets teamed up with one of the reporters, and that one is good. It is really, really good. But for some reason, You Should Be So Lucky it just does start off I am very much someone who is weak for books where characters it is in the end of the world, but they start off in not a great place, and then basically the whole story is a constant uptick in things just getting better and better and better. And I think You Should Be So Lucky fit very well into that niche. So as I said, I was having a horrible day 2 days ago when I started rereading this again, and I'm not joking, it wasn't even 2 minutes and I was smiling so wide it felt like I was about to split my face in two. I love that book. But that's a romance. So we have a middle grade fantasy and a romance. I think that is more than one book. But try to ask any book lover to just name one book. It's impossible. But I think those are very great contenders. There's a YA contemporary fantasy I also really, really love by a Swedish author. It's called Korpmåne by Therese Henriksson. I don't know if it's even in print anymore. It was in print in mass market paperback still a few years ago, but I'm not sure. And it's never gotten an audiobook or anything like that. It has an ebook though, I think. But I read that I think the summer before my last year of high school, or potentially the summer between high school and university. I can't remember. And I flow through it, and I've been obsessed with it since. I have reread it once, or at the very least, I've started reread. I'm very bad at finishing books. But yeah, love that too. But there's so many books, and if you give me more time, I could think about this for an hour. Uh, what's your go-to karaoke song? Probably. I don't know. Whenever I do karaoke, it is with my friends at one of their places, because one of my friends has a very old beat up laptop. And when I say beat up, I mean it doesn't even have a screen anymore, and the keyboard isn't working. So he has a laptop without a keyboard, without a screen, but you can obviously plug in a normal keyboard into it, and you can then hook it up with an HDMI to like a TV. And then that laptop has some old karaoke like program on it, and then it has this like 2 microphones you also plug in, and then you do like versus battles of karaoke, and it's it's amazing. And we do that sometimes, and no one cares if you sing, like you can't keep a single note. Many of us are actually like not like, I used to take singing classes in high school. I also used to play guitar. Like I can technically read, not notes actually, I never got good at that, but I can read like chords and stuff, and I technically know how to keep a tone, a note, but you don't really care about that in karaoke. It is very fun. And there is a song that is especially one of my friends who's actually pretty good at playing the piano. For some reason, he's just really not great or even good at karaoke. If you pair the two of us together, both of our musical knowledge just goes out the window and we sound horrible. But there's a song we're not allowed to sing anymore because we sung it so badly that people, again, you're not allowed to do that. Oh yeah, that was my 4th animal. I thought it was only 3. Okay. So, and that song is obviously, I can't remember who the artist is, but that's like a Swedish like song from the 80s or 90s. But if I get to pick, I usually pick something like by Imagine Dragons or Fall Out Boy, something that I listened to as a younger teenager, because like songs like Warriors or Centuries or Believer, because I pretty much know every lyric by heart, so I just need to kind of keep the right tone of voice, and I can do pretty well on those. So I think those are good choices for me in karaoke. The funniest moment you've experienced? I don't think I have like a single. I think my life has, like, I wouldn't say like, oh, this is like the fun, or actually there is one. I can't fully remember it because I was quite young, but this would have been 2012 maybe. There's this theater in Sweden, and stay with me, but there's a theater in Sweden. It's called Vallarna. It's an outdoor theater, and every year they put up this play, or a play I should say. It's a different play every year, and it's a new one, and it's in a genre called buskis, which is like, it's humor. It's a humor show. It's a comedy. It's not even a comedy because like there are theater comedies, but like, what I'm trying to say, this is not the type of theater where you go to like a fancy place and everything feels snobby. That is not this. I know that's not what theater is, but if that's what you're imagining, like this is not that, and it's just very funny, and the scripts are very funny, and they also usually go on TV like the year after. And I grew up with this, and when well, yeah, about 10 years ago now, a little over 10 years now at this point, for my dad's 50th birthday, because my dad is the one who really, really loves this, so like he's the reason I grew up watching this. We went there to see like that year's show, and we had front row seats, and they sell like popcorn and stuff for the show. that you can eat. And my younger brother had gotten popcorn. And we were in front row. And it's also relevant to know that there is like a river going behind the stage and there are ducks. And at some point, my younger brother spills popcorn because he was very young at this point. It has been more than 10 years though, actually, because my younger brother was really young. I don't know. Oh, 2013, yeah, it would be more than, I don't know, I can't remember. Maybe it was for like his 45th birthday, I can't remember. But my dad, for his birthday 1 year, over a decade ago, we got to go see that play. And my younger brother spilled popcorn. We're in the front row. He doesn't spill on stage, because the stage is a little bit up, obviously. So he spilled it on the ground. And ducks come to eat the popcorn, and it's like, it isn't like nothing is happening, but there is a scene in this play because one of the characters is a corrupt priest, who is. This takes place during the 1920s. There's like a thing happening in Sweden in the 1920s. There was like a prohibition where like you couldn't get alcohol. You need like approval. It was really hard. So like there was a lot of like smuggling of alcohol at this time in Sweden, and this priest is taking part in smuggling alcohol. And the whole thing is like he is not very priestly for being a priest. That's kind of like the funny thing about his character. He has like a monologue on the scene, and he's the only character on the scene, and he's standing there and he's holding his monologue of like trying to justify to us, the audience, of why he is smuggling alcohol. And while he's doing this, one of the ducks flies up on to the stage that was eating my younger brother's popcorn. And I can't remember what he says, but I remember it was funny because he just improvised in that moment and starts like bringing the duck as an like example into his monologue. And I can't remember, and I have seen this play many times since. Because they record it, like it goes on TV and you can buy DVDs of it, and we have the DVD, but like they record many different days for the show, and then they take the one that's like the best. So like we were there was a recording crew, but that's not the day they ended up on the DVD. So I don't know what he improvised, but like he did it, and maybe that wasn't the first time a duck flew on stage, but it was really, really funny. I remember, and that's one of those things like that only happened because we were there in those seats, because the ducks were eating my younger brother's popcorn, and that was very, very funny. But I've had many fun experiences, but I would say that is probably one of the funniest ones. I think that was like the first section of questions done. I think that could be a very good way to end this video, a good place to end this video. And then we could take the next section of questions in another video. But that's good, because then I have, material. I know what, like, if I don't have another theme to do training chit chat on, I know I can do these. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, please consider, leaving a like and subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. I appreciate everyone who does so very, very much. If you want to, feel free to leave a comment telling me if you've had any particularly really funny stories or experiences that you've had. Just like, don't give me any personal information. Stay safe on the internet, people. I see so many people giving so much information on the internet, but that's a whole other discussion. Stay safe out there, people, please. But yeah, thank you once again so much for watching this video. And almost entirely forgot, if you want to see more from me, please consider following me on Instagram. I'm KaiserDragonroad there too. It's also linked down below in my description box. You can also get like sometimes little updates on like how things are going with my channel here, because it's easier to post like my Instagram stories. So if that's interesting, follow me there. Now, thank you guys so much for watching this video to the end. I guess I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.